Hi, welcome to another episode of Relax, I Got This. And I'm really excited because this is a new segment of the show that we call Agent to Agent. So, from Dallas to the world, where we talk with my referral partners and friends that are agents across the country so we can talk about where they live, what their market is like, and some of the favorite things in their community. So, today, downtown Chicago with my friend Anne Rosen. Stay tuned.
A real estate transaction is potentially the largest investment we make in our lives. Whether you're buying and selling your personal home or investing in real estate, you need the knowledge to make the right decisions. Get ready. Robin is a Texas realtor and has the experience to give you the information you need to make the right decisions. Welcome to Relax, I Got This with your host, Robin McCoy.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Relax, I Got This and our special segment, Agent to Agent, where I talk with my referral partners and friends across the United States about their market and what is going on in their town. And today, I'm so excited because I have my long-term friend, Anne Rosen from downtown Chicago. Hi, Anne.
Hi, Robin. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. This is fun.
Always. I look forward to it. We chat often, not always via voice, but here we go.
Here we go. So Anne and I have been friends for a number of years. We were connected, I don't know, a decade ago by a common business coach. And we just started out as kind of accountability partners. And that friendship and that relationship has grown. I see Anne periodically at events throughout the year. And like she said, we chat a lot about just real estate and managing this life that is a realtor. So Anne, how long have you been a real estate agent?
15 years. February 1st will be 15 years.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Feels like yesterday, right?
It really does. It really does. Or as we sometimes say, seems like forever.
Seems like. So I know you're in the hospitality industry prior to this, hotels, correct?
Right. I worked for Marriott International on properties, so in hotels in 3 different cities in the Midwest.
Okay. And so how did you end up in real estate in Chicago? Because you're not from Chicago.
No, I'm not from Chicago. However, I have lived in Chicago longer than anywhere else in my adult life. So one of my assignments with Marriott was in Chicago, and then I moved away, and then I came back. So my last assignment with Marriott was in Chicago, and my job came to an end. And so I was in Chicago, and I really didn't feel I wanted to go anywhere else, and I didn't want to work for another hotel company. And I had a hotel friend who had gotten out of the hotel business and into real estate. So he connected me and encouraged me to get my license.
Isn't that how that often happens? Is we get to, I think for a lot of realtors, we get to a turning point in our career.
Yep.
And we know somebody that's been in our industry or something, and they encourage us.
Well, and what's interesting about, real estate parallels so many other industries. And what I've found is people think of real estate as a sales business, and really it's a service business.
Yeah, it is.
So, that's what I did in hotels. I worked on the service side of convention planning and event planning. And that's really what
you're kind of doing that again, aren't you?
Well, is really, it's an event.
Yeah, it is an event. It is an event. So let's talk a little bit about Chicago. Now, you and I have talked pretty much at length, because people say Chicago and it's this big, kind of like DFW, right? It's like this big place, but it's very different throughout, right? Right.
It is because, when people say, oh, I've been to Chicago, if they were in Chicago as a tourist, then absolutely, they've been in Chicago. And that's really where I live. I can walk to Wrigley Field where the Cubs play. I can take a quick bus right downtown on Michigan Avenue, shop where, the people shop. Navy Pier is the largest attraction in the state. There's the Children's Museum. I mean, literally that's about 2 miles down the road. And down the road, down Lakeshore Drive. Chicago's a city of neighborhoods, and the neighborhoods are created and designed based on the census tracts. So there's 77 neighborhoods. So when someone says
Oh,
I'm from
wow.
Chicago or I've been to Chicago, I often ask, where, because you can, or if they say they're from Chicago, we ask where. And if they mention Schaumburg or Naperville or, well, that's not Chicago, those are the suburbs, and that's
Right,
okay.
right,
That's okay. But it could take an hour and a half to get there.
right, right.
So, and so Chicago proper, the city of Chicago, is a city of neighborhoods developed by immigrants. So there are certain neighborhoods that have German heritage or Mexican heritage or Chinese heritage or Korean, and we're vertical. So
What do you mean by vertical?
so vertical meaning high-rise buildings.
Yes.
And the closer we are to Lake Michigan, the higher. So the skyscrapers, the high-rise
Okay.
buildings that are mostly condo, are right along the lakefront, up and down, north and south. Lake Michigan is to the east. So the city goes either north or west or south. You can't go east because you jump in
Because you're in the lake. Go jump in the lake.
And as you go further inland, there are not high rises.
Okay.
There are neighborhoods that have bungalows, single family home bungalows. There are some that are two flats. In some neighborhoods, or in some parts of the country, those are called duplexes.
Okay.
But we would call it a two flat because it's two, I guess. The word flat is what Londoners,
Yeah.
use that term in Europe, or a 6-unit building, just a multiple unit building. Could be condos, could be apartments. Condos
Okay.
would be owned, apartments would be one owner for the whole building. So I could go on.
So it's a big difference. Yes. Well, that's kind of what I want to get to. So if we're sitting here and there's somebody in Dallas that's thinking about moving to Chicago, and they say, yeah, I'm going to go live in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Is that downtown Chicago and do you want to live in a high rise, or is that outside of downtown and you want to live in a single family? Do you want to live by Wrigley Field or do you want to live by the Navy? Because it makes a difference.
It does make a difference. And those are the questions, those are a handful of the questions that I would ask someone who's either new to Chicago or moving to Chicago, because why are you moving here? Are you moving here for work? Okay, great. Do you need to go to the office? Will you be driving? Do you have a car? If you don't have a car, we probably want to get you near public transportation. There's an amazing transit authority, the CTA, Chicago Transit Authority. So there's elevated train tracks. The buses are also amazing. So everyone of every walk of life takes the public transportation.
Yeah,
that's
one of the things. Chicago does have, not every city has good public transportation. Chicago is one of the ones that you can get anywhere you need to, and everybody takes it, because I've tried to drive downtown Chicago and go one block. I about abandoned my car and just walked.
Well, between parking and traffic, there's another added expense.
Yeah.
So, that's the other thing when people are moving here. First we have to talk about.
Are you looking to buy or sell a home in the bustling DFW area? Look no further, because I am Robin McCoy, your trusted real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty. For over 15 years, I've been helping buyers and sellers navigate the real estate market here in DFW. So whether you're looking for your dream home or aiming to sell your property for the best price, relax. I got this. As a seasoned professional, I'll guide you through the entire process, ensuring a smooth and stress-free experience. I understand that buying or selling a home can be a significant decision. That's why I pride myself on providing exceptional customer service. I'll be with you every step of the way, answering your questions and addressing your concerns. So why take a chance with just any real estate agent? Choose me, Robin McCoy, the professional who has proven my excellence in helping both buyers and sellers in the DFW area for over 15 years. Call me today at 214-226-3770 or visit my website at robinmccoyrealty.com. Let's make your DFW real estate dreams come true. Relax, I got this.
that's the other thing when people are moving here. First we have to talk about what are your must-haves. Do you want to live close to work? Do you want to live close to where you play?
Right.
How much time are you willing to commute? And, then of course, do you have a car? Do you have pets? Do you enjoy outdoor activities? For example, running up and down the lakefront path. It's a 15-mile path, or cycling. Are you outdoorsy and athletic and you want to have access to the lake? Every neighborhood has a feel, and yeah.
That's what I do like about Chicago is the neighborhoods. Like you said, the neighborhood around Wrigley Field is one way, and then the neighborhood around Soldier Field is different. And it's
for sure.
It's very much like New York or San Francisco in that regard, because you say, I live in San Francisco. Oh, I live in Noe Valley. I live in the Mission. I live in Pacific Heights. And so it's
very different.
The neighborhoods are identified.
Yep. Well, and similarly, when someone says, what's your favorite restaurant? It's the same. I mean, you can go to, the question then is what cuisine, what price point,
yeah,
and how fancy, because you can do any of that.
And you can have the best sandwich, but it ain't going to be fancy, or maybe, right. And that's fine. What are you looking for?
That's right.
So tell me about the market in downtown Chicago. So primarily it's going to be condos. And I know that's primarily what you work with. Not that you don't do single family or other things, but I think primarily your clients are condo buyers.
Well, and it's, so it's people I've been working with who I've cultivated relationships over time. And then of course, referrals, anyone who am referred to from outside the area. The elephant in the room is the effects of the pandemic, right? Like where every market was impacted differently. Chicago being a city, being high density populations, we were shut down for quite a while. People did move. We actually had probably some people who moved out of the city who would have moved anyway, but they sort of move their process up a little bit to move into the suburbs, to live near family, to live near grandma and grandpa so that they could babysit while everyone else had to work from home or go to work when they went back to work. The downtown high condo market was impacted pretty severely because there were people who thought, we're not living downtown, we don't have to go to work. We're going to go live wherever we want. So inventory was sitting for a little bit longer. Prices little moderate. So in some parts of the country, prices have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Maybe they've come back down. We didn't experience that quite the same way. There are some neighborhoods where it's not a high rise with elevators and 300 or 400 units, 300 or 400 families or people living in one building. Smaller buildings maybe are selling a little bit faster and maybe do have some competition, like we've heard in other parts of the country with bidding wars and lines around the corner when there's an open house.
Yeah.
So I guess to answer your question, I mean, people are moving just like for anyone else, but they're not moving just to move. They're moving because they need to, whether it's a job transfer, their space isn't big enough, or they're divesting their investment condos. There are some people who bought up maybe a second home in the city, and now they're done with that. They're finished being they're retiring to the wherever they're going, and they're not they don't need that second condo any longer.
So what I'm hearing is, if I were coming to you to ask about, I'm going to move to downtown Chicago. I work downtown. My kids are grown. They're out or whatever. It's just me and my spouse and my little dog, Toto. And we're going to live downtown because we want that urban thing. If I'm coming from a place like Dallas, where we get a lot of multiple offers and things happen very quickly, and how is that going to be? Is it going to be the same or different? I guess is my question. And when it comes to putting offers in, and how quickly can I get the place I
Sure,
want?
sure. I would love to say a a firm answer. I'd have to say it depends.
It depends. That's a realtor's favorite phrase. Well, it just
Well,
depends,
so
and
so
it's
you know,
true.
once we've determined what neighborhood, what price point, what the choices look like to match what you're looking for, we can see how long has something been on the market. Has it been on the market long enough that maybe there's no competition? Or is it brand new and they've
It
the
could,
realtor has made it clear that there's going to be competition. Like we're
yeah,
not going to offer any showings until, the open house on Saturday.
right.
So
So
there
it's,
is
I
some of that.
mean, I think that's, and I'm going to make a very blanket statement here, but I think it's true that the inventory across the country is lower than comforting
For sure.
for a lot of people, and so again, it gets back to what is it you're looking for? What are your as a buyer, or I mean, and then it's a seller too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
what's most important to you when you're going to put your home on the market in downtown Chicago? This is what you can expect.
Well, and that's a question we always ask, why are you selling? How soon are you going somewhere, and how soon do you need to be there? So when you talk to the seller and you understand what's motivating them to move, what's causing them to move, if they just want to let it sit on the market until it is stale and people wonder what's wrong with it,
That's up to them, right?
that's not the advice. I mean, I I do have a condo on the market. She was able to buy before she had to sell, so we did. But when we went on the market, it was right after the interest rates all spiked up last fall, and people sort of stopped doing
Yeah, they
months
all kind of
without.
froze.
And there's also some seasonality in some of the buildings and the movement. So, here we are, and there are a handful of, they're not comps, they're not comparable because the building has so many different floor plans
Right.
and different exposures. It's not like, okay, there's 12 just like yours. They're not, but a buyer does have some choices.
Okay.
Instead of here's the only one bedroom, one bath. Look, there's four of them. They're
Yeah,
different from
which
each
one do
other.
you want? Because this one's going to be, maybe this one's less expensive because it doesn't have as premium a view. And if you don't care about the view, then maybe that's the one you choose, right?
Right. Well, and it's so funny that you mentioned view because I don't know what the weather is like in Dallas today or this. We have pea soup out our window. It is. I'm on the ninth floor. I can barely see out. So when we talk about calling that view,
Yeah.
no, I mean
Well, it's
so
pretty
funny.
cloudy and foggy here as well. So
Yeah,
a
it's
little
fun.
damp. It's a little damp. So let's talk about your favorite places. Obviously, so you got moved there with your job changed. You said, I kind of like it here. I'm going to stay. What are maybe your favorite things to do in downtown Chicago? Favorite places to eat? I know your dad's there with you, so you guys go
Yeah,
on dinner dates all the time.
yep.
So tell me some of those things.
Be the leader you know you can be. Build your professional network and access education that takes you where you want to go. We are women of all ages and backgrounds. You deserve national recognition and opportunities to build relationships with people you want to work and grow with. Hit the ground running with the Charisma chapter of the American Business Women's Association. Meetings each month from 6 to 8:30 p.m. on the fourth Tuesday in Farmers Branch, Texas, and online. Come with us. Experience ABWA for yourself. Go to charisma.abwa.org to learn more.
Maybe your favorite things to do in downtown Chicago, favorite places to eat. I know your dad's there with you, so you guys go on
Yeah,
dinner dates all the time.
yep.
So tell me some of those things.
I would say eating out, for sure, because and we do eat out once a week. It's almost a requirement. Um, and the question is, do we want to explore somewhere we haven't been, or do we want to go back to some place that has become tried and true and a favorite? And I think we have a happy balance where we do both. Um, Sometimes we just want to go have a margarita have a killer margarita. That's the name of the place, Cesar's Killer Margaritas. Pretty casual. Actually, even some places that are a little bit more, I don't like the word expensive, but have, a different palette. We don't even have to get up dressed up fancy. It's so fun.
You could have that
The
level
world,
of food, and
well, the
you
world
could
has
just
gotten a
walk out
little
of your
bit.
door, right?
Right. I mean, we have another favorite place, and it was on Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives. It was on the Food Network, and Guy Fieri helped make it famous, probably back in the day. But it's upscale Mexican family style tapas, if you will. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's always fun. I mean, I would say mostly ethnic, different ethnic meals. So when we say, do we want to try a Turkish restaurant? Do we want to try, do we want to have Chinese, or do we want Thai or Indian? I mean, it's all available.
Options, all the options.
So exactly. So one of my favorite things, eating out. I think just like sitting outdoors, which obviously we don't do that this time of year.
I was going to
But I
say
mean,
right now, you're probably not doing a lot of that.
no, but I mean, outdoor cafes. I mean, again, many restaurants added outdoor seating the last few years just to expand their opportunities. But we definitely, just I think that's what Chicago offers, just being
Yeah.
outside, um, and shopping in different neighborhoods. Some neighborhoods have, one of a kind boutiques. Some of the big box stores are finding their ways into
Yeah.
but there's still quite a few really, quaint neighborhoods that have just rows of shops that are local.
That's awesome. That's
Yep.
awesome. So what would you tell someone that is, contemplating a move to Chicago, that, just maybe not hasn't quite settled either on the where, or even maybe they're deciding between two places. What are the best things about living in Chicago?
Yeah. Well, that's another thing I suggest when they've either narrowed in on one neighborhood or maybe two, to maybe go spend time, go find a coffee shop, go to brunch, go experience that neighborhood as a local during the time when there's foot traffic. So think about, as a realtor, when we are doing showings, it's at the convenience of the buyer, the
Right.
potential buyer. If they're only available in the evening, well, it's not the neighborhood's not like that on
Right.
a Saturday afternoon.
Right.
Or if we're out on a Saturday afternoon in January, what is it like on a Saturday afternoon in July? There are
Very
times
different,
like,
right?
who lives here? And when there's,
Yeah.
you know, I can't tell you legally who lives here, but I can tell you, you know, take a look at a different time of day and you'll see there's foot traffic. There's women pushing families, and there's strollers and people walking dogs. So that's what we want to look for. Is that who your people are?
Right.
Will
Right.
that help you feel comfortable in the neighborhood?
So what would you tell sellers today? If I own a place in downtown Chicago that I want to sell, what would be your recommendation as we move into, like you said, the seasonality of things?
Well, if they're thinking about it now, or if they need to be somewhere in the spring, it doesn't feel like spring in Chicago until April.
Right.
However, the question then is, where are you going and when do you want to be there? And how quickly can we maximize the window of time where people are looking and wanting to get settled? Buyers are looking, and they're actually looking online quite a bit. We have a tool in our multiple listing service that is proprietary to realtors. It's like a coming soon. So we can, as a seller, we can agree to work together, do the paperwork. So we legally are working together. And then um, if realtors see that, they can then advise their buyers they can avoid that multiple offer situation. They can avoid the frenzy that some people may have. And we can gauge interest. We can gauge interest early in the process, which then, makes it seamless and takes away the stress as much as we can.
Because this is a stressful thing. Buying and selling a property can be very stressful. And, and I know that Anne is extremely knowledgeable in what she does and the details of the Illinois Real Estate Commission, I guess is what it's probably called. It's what it's called down here. And I know she takes a very personal attachment to the people she works with. Yeah. I've seen it over the years in the conversations we've had. So she has been my go-to in downtown Chicago for a long time. And so I couldn't recommend her more for that. If that is where you're headed, little chilly for me. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little. It's a little cold for my disposition, but many people love it. I love it in the summer; it's gorgeous. Well, downtown Chicago is amazing.
We do get all seasons. Some of them are shorter than others.
So, Anne, if you were going to put it on a bumper sticker or on a postcard, what would you say?
Whatever you are looking for in Chicago, we can help you find it.
There it is, right? So a lot of opportunity in Chicago. So I hope that if you are planning or you know someone that is moving in, out, or about the Chicago area, that you will reach out to Anne. Let her know that you heard about her right here. And we're going to put all of her contact information. Everything's going to be in our show notes to make sure that you can get in touch with Anne directly. And if for some reason you want to go through me, I'm happy to connect you. So thank you so much for coming and talking about Chicago.
Thanks, Robin. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for being a friend for all these years. And I know we'll see each other soon. It's the online relationships that have been fostered offline that make it work.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's another episode of Relax, I Got This, and our special agent to agent from Dallas to Chicago. So we'll see you next time on Relax, I Got This.
Thanks for joining us for Relax, I Got This with Texas Realtor Robin McCoy. Check out all the show notes for contact information on Robin and her guests and to access your free buyer and seller guides. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a conversation. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Relax, I Got This with Robin McCoy.